I got digital dash, can't ride with a op. I walk in the store and I buy the stock. I hide in the bins and pull out the lot. Got Tiffany diamond, it cost me a lot. They flying like birds, but drop on this hot. 400 degrees, I burned up the block. Burn out, make one call, they turn out. CC the gang, get the word out. When the shit getting hot, you the first out. Cover my wrist with a watch and I flood it with rocks. Now I look at the time all day. Be high, I rap the old block and I drop off the top. And I know you can see my face. You my dog at the end, don't care what the bitches say.
Leave a like on this video within the next 5 seconds for 2K to finally fix their servers. I would not risk it. Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy VIDS back in the video with yet another video. And this is actually a very, very special video. This is actually one of the craziest builds of all time. The two-way slashing Playmaker is back in NBA 2K21. Now, how is it back? You actually can shoot on builds like this. People are starting to shoot on builds like post Playmakers, slashing Playmakers, and that makes this build actually very usable. Now, is it consistent as a play shot? No, by no means. That's not what I'm trying to claim. I'm not even trying to claim it's as consistent as like those floor spacing slashers or slashers, but the ability to be able to be a, you know what I'm saying, just a, you know what I'm saying, a threat on the floor. But you can spot up on these, you can ISO with these, and it just becomes that different. And a lot of people be complaining about there's not a variety of builds. That's what I'm here to show y'all, boys. It is a variety of builds to be able to use. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to make it the best way. I'm gonna show you guys a lot of different things, but real quick before the video starts, if you want to see a video showing you guys all the things that you need to know on how to shoot with a low 3-ball rating, the link to that video will be in the description 100%. So yeah, you don't want to miss that video that actually goes into detail on how to do that, what badges, what things you need to do, and even tips. So yeah, man, you want to see that. But yeah, man, without further ado, if you haven't already, like, breaking, destroying the like button, hit that sub button. We're on the road to 100K. So, but yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead off straight into it. All right, first things first is going to be the position. For the position for the best two-way slashing Playmaker is going to be point guard. If you don't know, the way I made it last year, I used to be like a facilitating finisher, 6'7". So if you guys want me to show you guys the updated version of that on 2K21, I can also do that. So all you gotta do is smash, break, and destroy the like button. I got that for y'all, boys. If y'all knew, y'all knew. All right, next is going to be what pie chart we're going to be going with. Now, for the pie chart, it's going to be actually obvious what pie chart, because you know how this build goes. This is literally the most popular build of 2K20, which is one of the most popular 2Ks of all time. So, yeah, we're going to go with the pretty much the playmaking and defensive pie chart. This is going to get you playmaking and defensive Hall of Fame badges. And, yeah, this is where you find out to get your max caps and stuff like that. We're going to go over it and change that a little bit when we get into the attribute part of this video. But, yeah, that's going to be the pie chart for this build. And, all right, next is going to be the physical pie chart. Now, this is where you're going to be getting your max physical caps. So, you can go with the speed pie chart, where if you want to get that auto 99 speed and auto 99 acceleration, or you can go with the speed and vert. That's going to be getting you as close as possible to 99 speed, acceleration, and vert. So you're going to be really, really high. I'm talking about plus 95 on all three. But on the speed, you'll probably have like an 80 to 85 vertical. So that's really up to you. So yeah. All right, next is going to be the attributes. Now, this is where you're going to be molding the build into what is the two-way slashing Playmaker. So this is going to have 8 finishing, 8 shooting, 21 playmaking, and 20 defensive. Now, how were they last year? You had 11 finishing, 10 shooting, with 20 and 20. Now, is that more? Yes, that's 61. But is that big of a difference? I would say you have a 3 difference on finishing. You have a 2 difference on shooting. So already that's 5. But on the playmaking, you have 1. So in total, it's only 4 badge difference. So if you know this build was supposedly hugely nerfed, not only because of the badges, but also because of the shooting. So you're not going to be able to shoot as well as you would. But yeah, at the same time, you got to understand, you're going to be well-rounded on the badges still. So yeah, so for the 8 finishing, how do you make it? You're going to be pretty much maxing out the drive and dunk, and then drive and layup, and then putting the rest on close shot to get that to an 82. I believe that's not max, but if it is, it is. But just know it's at an 82. Then when it comes to the shooting, you're going to be maxing out the mid-range, 3-pointer, free throw, and then the post fade is at a 41 to get that 8th shooting badge upgrade. Then when it comes to the playmaking, pass accuracy, ball handle, both max. Then the post move up to a 40 to get the 21st badge upgrade. Then when it comes to the defensive rebounding. You'll be maxing out perimeter defense, lateral quickness, steal, and defensive rebound. Then putting the rest on block, which is pretty much going to be a max block. And if you know what block does, that's pretty much how you get the shot contest, whether it's in the perimeter or in the interior. And that's going to be really big of a rating. And yeah, that's going to get you 20 defensive rebounding badge upgrades. And in my opinion, this is the best attribute setup for this build. All right, next. Now, this is where we're going to be taking a change. Now, at the beginning of the year, the first video I ever dropped on 2K21 was in the prelude, and it was this build, but it wasn't this exact same way when it came to like the attributes and height, weight, wingspan. Now, when I first showed it, the height I went with was 6'4". Now I would go 6'5". You know what I'm saying? You can go 6'4", but I don't really see the point. If you go 6'4", you're not going to be any faster. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really see the point. Only thing that you get is like 1 acceleration. If you go 6'5", you're gonna be the same speed. You know what I'm saying? You lose a little bit of ball handle, I will not lie, but your driving dunk goes up higher. So off that alone, I'm going 6'5". I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, 6'5", in my opinion, is the best height for this build, just like the slash and playmaker. All right, next is going to be the weight. Now for the weight, it's pretty much perfect. I'm not gonna lie to you, because this build actually has a 99 speed and 99 acceleration. So with that being said, the weight, you're pretty much gonna go down pretty much all the way down to the bottom, but without being all the way at the bottom, you're gonna be pretty much going down up 1 from it. So you're gonna be at 176 pounds. That's gonna be pretty much allow you to still have not the lowest interior defense, not the lowest, you know what I'm saying, strength, but at the same time having the max speed and acceleration possible for this build. All right, and next is going to be pretty much last but not least for the height, weight, wingspan. So actually where you're going to be able to see what your build's going to look like at 95, and then we can go and look at it what it's going to look like at 99. So let's show you guys what it's going to look like. So for this build, you're going to pretty much max out the wingspan. That's pretty much the easiest choice you're going to be able to do, because what's going to happen? You're going to now have an 81 driving dunk that's going to be able to get contact dunks. You're going to have a 64 three-pointer, but that's going to get up to a 68. You're going to have a 71 mid-range, but that's going to get up to a 75. But yeah, the things on defense that's going to be happening, you're going to have a 93 steal, an 87 lateral quickness, 87 perimeter defense, and a 78 defensive rebound. Now that's what it's going to look like at 95. Even a 61 block, that's what it's going to look like at 95. If you don't know, at 96, you're going to get +1. At 97, you're going to get another +1. At 98, you're going to get another +1. And at 99, you're going to get another +1, which in total is going to be +4 to all these attributes that you see on screen, even the physicals. More on the physicals later. So why are you going to be able to get contact dunks? Because you're going to get +4 to driving dunks. So you're going to be able to have an 85 driving dunk. So you're going to have the 84 for the pro and the 85 for all the rest. So whether you were trying to get the small, elite, and pro, you can do that now. 88 driving layup, 90 close shot. So yeah, finishing, it's going to be really good. You're going to be really good at finishing. Then when it comes to the shooting, 75 mid-range, a 68 three-pointer, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're going to be, I'm going to show, like I said, I got tips on how to do that. I got a video on that. So if you want to see those, just go and watch that video. Shooting is not as hard as it seems. It's just not going to be as consistent, which is how 2K should have always been, in my opinion. But yeah, then when it comes to the playmaking, you're going to have a ball handle of an 84. You're going to be able to get the pro drill moves off the rip, +4 to it because of 99. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be at an 88. And you're going to have a 90 pass accuracy. But when it comes to the defense, this is where it actually sees the biggest increases. Not only are you going to now have a 65 block, which is actually a big deal, but you're also going to have an 82 defensive rebound. You're going to also have a 91 perimeter defense and lateral quickness. But not only that, you're going to have a 97 steal. But that is not the last thing also. You're also going to be getting +4 for your physicals because you had 99. But that's not it. You're going to also be able to have the ability to either grind my career for Gym Rat, or you're going to be able to hit it at the park by hitting SS2. So you can get +8 in total for your physicals. So why is that huge? Because now you have a 99 speed and a 99 acceleration. But when it comes to the vertical, like I said, you're going to have at least a 95 on all three. You have a 99 speed and vertical, not vertical, but acceleration. But the vertical is going to be at a 96. So yeah, you're going to be extremely well-rounded on all three facets. And on the build alone, you're going to be really good at everything. Only thing inconsistent is the shooting. But if you really get that down, you're going to be overpowered and broken. It's that simple. All right, next is going to be the best takeover for this build. So when it comes to the takeover choices, you're going to actually have lockdown, play take, slasher, and shot creator takeover. So in my opinion, the best takeovers for this build is going to be the most used takeovers for this build: lock, take, and Slasher. Playmaker Takeover is actually a very fun takeover. You're going to be taking people's ankles. You're going to actually be really good for ISO also, because it's going to pretty much help your teammates hit their shots at a way higher rate off catch. So yeah, that's a really interesting choice also. It's going to be really fun too. Then when it comes to shot creator takeover, I would say that's an obvious choice, because, you know what I'm saying, it would have plus 10 to three-pointer, but they don't have that on that this year. I only get plus 10 to ball handle, mid-range, and some other things, which is not really important. But when it comes to slash, you're going to get pretty much everything you really want. And when it comes to lot take, it's going to be pretty much everything you want. It really depends on what you rather be, better on offense or better on defense. Now, Slasher has some defensive things that you don't get on lock, like vertical and strength. So yeah, those are things that you really need for defense. So I'm gonna go with Slasher because it's the best of both worlds. Lot take doesn't really give you, in particular, anything plus 10 on offense. So for that alone, I'm gonna go with Slasher because it's gonna give me plus 10 to speed of ball, everything on the inside when it comes to dunking, layup, anything like that. But speed of ball handle, speed, you know what I'm saying, vertical, strength, acceleration, all that is going to be plus 10. So yeah, I'm gonna go with speed, or not speed, but Slasher. And it also unlocks another tier of contact dunk packages inside only the Slasher takeover. So yeah, that's going to be the takeover I'll go with for this build. And the build comes out as a two-way slashing playmaker, similar to shades of Baron Davis, Lonzo Ball, and DeJounte Murray. Just seeing this build name, it's low-key bringing back memories. I'm not even gonna lie. So yeah, that's going to be the best two-way slashing playmaker build in the game. Definitely one of the most underrated builds in the game. It reminds me of my slashing playmaker that is so overpowered. A lot of people ask me what's the clips that I use in my intro. Most of those clips, or if not all of those clips, are from my slashing playmaker. So yeah, that is a real big deal when it comes to how good this build is, because it's not only like that build, but you also get crazy defensive stats. Now, is my slashing playmaker really good on defense? Yes. So what I say, you don't necessarily need defense, all that stuff, I would say that, to be honest, but yeah, it's still a very good build. So yeah, that's going to be this two-way slashing playmaker. All we got left to go over is the best bad setups for this build. So yeah, man, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. Alright, before we go too far into this video, I want to make sure to go over this. Now, we were at 4.2%. We're all the way up to 9.7%. But still, 90% of y'all that are watching my videos aren't even subscribed. I know y'all mess with the videos. We finna be going so crazy, so you might as well hit that sub button. It's that simple. Alright, so next is going to be pretty much the best bad setups. And first things first, per usual, is always going to be the finishing, because you know why. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. So we only have 8 badge of grace to work with. So we have 2 gold, 1 silver. So this really depends on your preference. I went with silver contact finisher because the negatives. But the positives, I don't really feel like going over the negatives in full, but I'll say this. It helps you make contact layups, but at the same time, it makes you do more contact layups because it tries to create as much contact as possible. That's what that badge does. But the positive is it's going to help you get contact dunks. And how does it work? When you get the contact dunk packages at 20%, every single tier on top of that, contact finisher is 15% on top of that. So pretty much at bronze, you'll have a 35% chance of a contact dunk. At silver, which is what I have, it's 50% chance, and at gold it will be 65% chance, and at Hall of Fame it will be at 80%. So if you want it to be at gold, just take down Showtime tier, take down Silly Finisher tier, which is pretty dumb in my opinion. So I'll get into that soon. But yeah, contact finisher, I did go silver. It's either that or Showtime for me. It really depends on what you think is better. But main reason why I did go silver on it is because this is a build that you have to grind $2.99 to get the contact dunk. So off rip, it makes no sense to have it at gold because you're not even going to be able to get contact dunks unless you're in Takeover. So that's a real big deal. Now, when I have the 99, I will go gold contact finisher with silver Showtime. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Showtime, why do I have that? That's obviously probably the most broken, overpowered badges in the game. It's banning wages for a reason. It's gonna have the ability to help your teammates get Takeover extremely fast anytime you do a flashy dunk or and one, and if you do it both at the same time, it's actually double the trouble. So yeah, but then when it comes to Slithy Finisher, that's gonna be canceling out the negatives of contact finisher when it comes to creating as much contact as possible. It cancels that part out. Does Slithy Finisher make you not get contact dunks? No, it has nothing to do with that. It literally has nothing to do with that. So let's take that out of the equation. It's also actually gonna make you do more dunks. It's gonna up the dunk frequency of your build, but it's also gonna get you the best animations possible for every single situation. That is why it kind of cancels out also. And yeah, in an animation-based game like that, or this, it's just incredibly important in my opinion. But yeah, that's going to be the best defensive, or not defensive, but the best finishing bad setup for this build. All right, next is going to be the best shooting bad setup for this build. Now, I went over this in the shooting, you know what I'm saying, for a low 3-point rating. I gave y'all tips on like badges and bad setups. But yeah, I'm gonna go over it again. So for the badge setup for this build, we're gonna have gold Ranger Standard, gold Hot Zone Hunter, and silver Green Machine. For Ranger Standard, that's gonna be extending your range, making it that much easier to shoot within your range. That is important because this is a low 3-point rating build. Is it as helpful as it was last year? No. But at the same time, it's extremely important because this is really the most important way to be able to shoot from, you know what I'm saying, the 3-point range at an even more consistent rate than what you really should be able to do with this build. Next, Hot Zone Hunter. Now, this is probably the most important badge for this build. When you have hot zones, that is very crucial. You really want to have hot zones on a build like this because then that unlocks your ability to shoot at a way higher rate, because now you can get greens at a way higher rate because your green window gets even bigger. Why? Because your make percentage goes way higher in hot zones. It's that simple. But when you have Hot Zone Hunter on top of that, your make percentage goes up way higher, making your green window even bigger, which is important, especially in a game like this where the green window is very small. Then when it comes to Green Machine, that's going to be pretty much going on along with those other badges where it comes to getting consecutive greens. It's gonna make that green and the 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 green just get bigger and bigger and bigger. The green window is just gonna get bigger and bigger as you consecutively keep getting greens. Now, the way Green Machine works, in my opinion, the first green is like half of like the green window of a regular shot if you don't have Green Machine. But the second green is like the regular green window of a, you know what I'm saying, green window if you don't have Green Machine. But then the third green window is why you really want to have Green Machine. So I can see people not trying to use that because you're not really trying to take 3 threes a game in part games with a build like this, because the shooting on it is just not consistent as a play shot, as a force facing slasher, as a slasher. So yeah, it's just that simple. But with that being said, the reason why people use Green Machine is because you can keep making the green window bigger and bigger and bigger the more you keep getting greens and consecutively. So yeah, that's going to be a shooting badge setup for this build. All right, next is going to be the best playmaking badge setup for this build. So for the best playmaking badge setup, we have 5 Hall of Fame and 1 bronze. So for the 5 Hall of Fame, we're going to have Handles for Days, Unpluckable, Quick First Step, Floor General, and Ankle Breaker. So Quick First Step, that's going to be the most important playmaking badge in the game. That's going to be pretty much how you speed boost and speed glitch at the highest rate possible, and that's how you get open for whatever you're trying to do, whether it's a contact dunk, a layup, a mid-range, a 3-pointer, or even an off the dribble, or if you're just creating, you know what I'm saying, opportunities to help your teammates hit shots because they're trying to help on you, double team you, whatever it is. Then you have Handles for Days to pretty much cancel out the stamina issue, Unpluckable to make your build not get ripped near as much. Does it do anything when it comes to bump steals? No. But Handles for Days isn't as consistent as it should be either. So yeah, you just need those 3 badges at the highest rate possible. So that's why those are the 3 first badges I went over. Then when it comes to a badge like Ankle Breaker, that's the most broken, overpowered badge in the game. You can pretty much take ankles every single possession, every single time you do certain moves, and that is very overpowered. Anytime you make the defender go the wrong way, in essence though, that's when you're going to be taking ankle breakers. But if you do a certain move, it's going to be at a really high rate also. But then when it comes to Floor General, that is going to pretty much help your teammates get +4 to all their offensive attributes. So that could be really important to help people reach thresholds on dribbling or get contact dunks or anything. It's just anything that it can really be doing is really big. Now, real quick. Now, if you play with a build that's a play shot, if you have Floor General, that can help them. But if they use Floor General to help you, now your 3-pointer goes from a 68 at 99 all the way to a 72. And then don't forget, in Takeover, you have another +5, so you can now have a 77 3-pointer and take. So that can actually make you be consistent shooting. So that's another thing that you got to keep in mind. Those things like that where Floor General can come into play, Takeover can come into play, not just 99. So yeah. But then when it comes to Needle Threader, that is very important because if you're ISOing, you know what I'm saying, you're really going to want those passes to be faster and harder to get stolen. And that's exactly what Needle Threader does. It makes your passes a lot faster and then make your passes harder to get stolen all at the same time. So yeah, that is going to be the best playmaking badge setup for this build. And all right, last but not least, before we end off this video, is going to be the best defensive rebounding badge setup for this build. So for the defensive rebound badge setup, we have 20 badger grades to work with. So we have Hall of Fame Clamps that's going to be able to pretty much play the best on-ball defense possible, whether you're trying to bump your opposing player or just stay in front of them so they can't get blow-bys. And why is it so important to bump people as much as possible? Because if you keep bumping people, what people hate is when you're bumping them because they can't get their dribble moves off to really even try to start their dribble move, to get their combos, to get their rhythm going, and try to get a speed glitch off, most importantly. So yeah, clamps is very important. Interceptor is going to pretty much have you in them lanes, whether you can get in the tip or just catching it at a way higher rate. And yeah, it's very important to have interceptor. In my opinion, that's probably my favorite badge on defense besides Rim Protector. Then when it comes to chase down artists, when you put chase down artists to bronze, that unlocks their chase down block animations. Then you go from silver to gold all the way to Hall of Fame like we have it. That's gonna make you jump that much higher and run that much faster on chase down block animations. Then when it comes to pick dodger, this is probably the most important defensive badge in the game because every single team is going to use screens. Every single team uses screens on this game. So yeah, pick dodger is very important. That's going to pretty much also is going to be really good at park because it's also going to allow that park badge to pretty much negate the iron wall badge for the park. So yeah, it's also very good for that, but also it's really good to pretty much go around the screens, slip screens, all that type of stuff. And if you're good at guarding screens without pick dodger, like I have gotten over the years because pick dodger was so bad, I had to just learn that myself. Pick dodger is gonna make it that much easier. Then when it comes to badges like intimidator, that's gonna be the best shot contest. That's gonna help you get the best shot contest on the perimeter or in the interior. Pickpocket is gonna help you get on ball steals at a way higher rate. Rebound chaser is going to be really important to pretty much get as many rebounds as possible. Then you have Rim Protector that does so many things. It enhances badges like Intimidator and Chase Down Artist. It pretty much does a lot of other things too when it comes to the fact of it improves your blocking ability. It puts people into blocking animations. It also unlocks special blocking animations too for you. So yeah, it does a lot. And it also, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be helping your teammates take over whenever you get a block. So yeah, very, 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 very overpowered badge. And in my opinion, that's the best defensive badge in the game. And like I was saying, it's my favorite badge over Interceptor. So yeah, Clemson's up there too, I would say. But yeah, that is going to be pretty much the defensive rebounding badge setup for this build. But yeah, man, that is going to be the best two-way slashing playmaker. The two-way slashing playmaker is back in NBA 2K21. The reason why people don't use it is because they feel like it's just very inconsistent. So like I said at the beginning of this video, if you guys want the tip to shoot on low three-point rating builds, all you need to know is go watch that video. But then you gotta know there's other facets to make these builds a lot better at shooting. You can get 99 to get +4. You can get another +4 from your teammates having floor journal, either gold or Hall of Fame. If you have it gold, it's going to be only +3 though, so keep that in mind. And you can get in Takeover, you can get at least +5. So yeah, it's just that simple. You need to know all the things that can help your build do all these things. But yeah, man, that's going to be the best build. I'll show you guys exactly how to make it from the pie charts, attributes, height, weight, wingspan, Takeover, all the way down to the bad setups for the finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defensive. So yeah, man, for that alone, go ahead, smash, break, and destroy the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We on that road to 100K, so I really would appreciate it if everybody needs to hit that like button and subscribe. But yeah, man, turn on post notifications. Be the first to every single my video. Share the video to anybody you think we will help. You don't want to miss what I got in store for 100K. But yeah, man, it's your boy Fitz, man, and I'm out of it, man.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!
Alright, before we go too far into this video, I want to make sure to go over this. Now, we were at 4.2%. We're all the way up to 9.7%. But still, 90% of y'all that are watching my videos aren't even subscribed. I know y'all mess with the videos. We finna be going so crazy, so you might as well hit that sub button. It's that simple.